Okay, I'm gonna just play some games. So I made a Lichess account. Maybe I should play on Lichess for now, just because it's kind of funny. Like it was trying to determine my ELO, and it like 1 second. What's this? It's Lichess.org, isn't it? So look at my rating on here. It's like 1200. Um, yeah, let's just try. I'm gonna try to do this until my rating gets to the right spot because I don't think it's right. But it matched me against like I beat two people that were like 1,000 plus ELO, so it thinks I have a higher rating than I do. But I did beat them, so I'll move this off the screen actually. I'm gonna play rapid. 30 minutes is nice. I think maybe on Lichess I'll play like 15 plus 10, and chess.com I'll play 30 minutes or something, just so I have two separate. I think 30 minutes is a bit much when people are watching, especially. Yes, this is on 1288. I'm playing against 1345 here. I hope he does exchange. I'm better with exchange variation than I am with advance. Okay. I just take, right? I don't like the arrows on Lichess though. Right, so then I tempo out the bishop, right? Or the knight, sorry. Wait, what? Is this just hanging? Did leaving? Is that just left hanging? Am I missing something here? Yeah, so normally they like retreat, but I guess they're just gonna hang their knight. I mean, maybe there's some tactic here that I'm not thinking about, but it looks to me like they hung their knight. I mean, maybe they're gonna try to scholars mate me. Okay. I mean, I just block like this, right? This isn't even a scholar's mate. I don't. They're just trying to cheese me. It feels like. But if I go here, I don't. I guess the problem with going here is they have two attackers. Well, I have two attackers there too. I'm so confused, man. 1345 and they're doing this. Like, I know that's not. Jesus. I just got 112 ELO off this. Are you kidding me? All right. Cool, cool, cool. I guess we're not going to get the correct ELO, and then I'm going to be dropping. I don't know. I really can't understand how they hung their bishop off of a standard opening. Or hung their knight, sorry. I was actually just training against this specific scenario. I was like looking at this exact scenario in the engine, and the move I do not want to see is this. And it's apparently fine for me. Like if they do that, that's totally fine. But I don't like the engine told me it's fine. But and I looked through the lines and I just like threw my hands up in the air and said I don't understand. Okay, they don't do it. So now I have the fork. So I will do that. I almost never like playing against people like 550 ELO. I never can land this fucking fork, and then I play against the highest rated opponent I've ever had, and I land the fucking fork on them. Like it's insane. A take back. Nah, dude. What? Dude, that's like, what the fuck is a take? It's one thing if you like, maybe you misclicked or something, but like, what? I'm not playing, we're not playing take backs. Like, dude, my real rating is like 650. You should be able to beat me. This is so funny to me. It's just like, I mean, if he misclicked, I genuinely feel bad about it. But like, the thing to me about a take back is like, I don't know that that's what happened. You know, like how am I supposed to know what's going on here? Okay, let me think about this. So, like, I'm trying to decide if there's any point in bailing my knight out. Like, is them taking with this pawn especially good for me? I don't think so. I think I actually like their queen having the corner itself and waste a lot of tempo. So, then I should just do regular developing moves, I guess. So I'm up material. I feel like I want to offer them a try. I also have this check. I think I want to hold that check. I'll move my knight. I mean, if they ever move that pawn, I could get a really good fork with that bishop, but I kind of need to move now, though, you know. I don't think it makes sense to make that check because it gives the knight the knight is already in a bad position. I don't want to let it move again, or like force it to move. I just want to jump in here now. I think. Oh, that's a check too. Holy shit! I'm like. I mean, I'm looking at this, but that's probably not going to be good. But this is just this is just a big tempo game, you know, like unless they really, maybe it benefits them to move their king, but I want to move my knight here anyway, so I'm okay with it. So yeah, they do prevent me from attacking the rook in general here. But this is a fine outpost now, basically. I still have a check here. It's still not really any good. I'm just not seeing huge incentive to just, this bishop move feels very slow to me right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm winning and it just feels slow. And it doesn't feel like it's actually targeting anything. But I think I will just do it, maybe. I just want to be ready to castle. Like, I'm against a much stronger opponent than myself. And oh, hey, Stride, what's up? Like, they're way stronger than me. I'm sure they are. They made some mistakes. I'm in a very much leading position, but it could, if I'm not really careful, I'm just going to lose. And not being able to castle is a good way to lose, I think, here. Actually preventing me from checking anymore. This queen is just like not in the game. This is not in the game. I should be trying to think of some way to. Maybe this isn't. No, what I don't like about this is I go here and then they're just like, okay, I'm gonna move my knight, and they want to move their knight. It's like, so I don't want to give that knight like a free move, basically. I guess it's not free. Like, they don't move their knight, they move their fucking king. That's the point, right? So they move their king. And then my bishop is just kind of here. So yeah, I don't know what happened, dude, but my opponent allowed me to do the Jabava fork on them. So I just like won the rook like really early, and it it was surprising that happened. Okay. Do I have a good attack now? Did they just let me fork him again? Are you kidding me? Dude, are you gonna let me fork you again? Really? Am I? Are you learning from your error at all here? I forked both your rooks now. Alright, make sure I don't have some kind of checkmate before I start. Dude, I might, hold on. Oops. Okay, let me say this. Okay, so the king cannot go here. Cannot go here. I'm thinking about if I go here, right? Cannot go here. Cannot go here. Cannot go here. Is that checkmate? Can go here. Okay, so the king goes here. My bishop is here. I could go. I should just take the fucking rook. I'm just looking at like, dude, if I can get. It feels like it should be a checkmate potential. So the king is here. If I go here, it's another check, but they have a bishop there. This is also a check. They have a bishop there. I mean, I could just take the free tempo, check again. They have to move to here, and then I take the rook. Actually, that's good, because then their queen can't take back. Because now they'll have to go here, and then I can take the rook without their queen being able to take my knight. And their queen is just like further out of the game by doing this. This is insane. I'm beating like a 1400. It shouldn't really be happening, but it's happening. I mean, they blundered so fucking bad. Like, I just assumed that at like this kind of rating you wouldn't make those kind of blunders, but because like I think about on chess.com, like it's taking me weeks to get like 100 from like 450 to 650, and I have opponents like not blundering. They're nearly as bad at that level, and now I'm getting a 1400 just like blundering the shit out of everything. You mean good thing I looked if I got before just taking the rook? Good thing I looked. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been learning that when you have like a check with a fork or whatever and they move the king, you always want to look, because you just check them, the chances are you might have another check again that's better than just taking the piece. So I've been making sure I look at that kind of shit. So I should be thinking, I know what they're going to move. They're going to move here, so what's my next move? Probably just take the rook at that point. Yeah, I mean, I definitely just take the rook. I don't think there's any other move to be made, really. I've been playing, I guess, for like a month or two, maybe. Like, I was doing the puzzles for a little bit before that, like on and off. Never really got very far on that or anything, and I wasn't really playing any games. And then I think I started playing maybe like in just before I moved. Like, I guess I've been playing longer than 2 months, but I've been seriously playing for like about a month, like trying to say like, okay, I actually really want to play this game. Like, I'm committing to it or whatever. Okay, I'm just gonna take the rook for time. I'm pretty positive that's the best move. because I really did kind of look at other stuff to see what he does from here and if I can close the game out. Okay, that's interesting. That just looks like a bad move to me, but let's see. I think I just want to trade. Like, why wouldn't I just trade here? This knight isn't even good. For you? What? Yeah, I'm just gonna trade as much as I can right now. I want to bring my queen in. I'm just like nervous about blundering after bringing that queen in, and my rooks are not in the game, so I'm trying to. I'm up so much material, but I could still fuck it up, because like most of my material is just sitting back here inactive. But I do know that trading is good here, so I'm thinking of just making this trade too. That does open their queen up a little bit easier. I'm looking at maybe like this move. So if they take, I could at least like take back, and then my queen is on the diagonal or something. It feels like I really need to get my rook and queen out and shit. So I almost just want to go like here. Or maybe it would be better. Can I go out on this diagonal in a useful way? This looks, oh no, this looks, no. Nothing. This is reasonable maybe, but not really. I don't know where I'm going. Probably it's like here. And then just castle, and it's just, it feels so slow, dude. Maybe I just go here. Because then I have open files and I'm pushing pawns and stuff. Their queen is so trapped. I'm gonna do this. Because then I just have like this basically. Okay, so if I go here, how are they gonna defend it somehow? I don't even think they can defend that square at all. Yeah, I know either move is winning, but the thing is like this guy's rating has me scared, man. Like, unless they're also like not really the right rating or something, but I can very easily blunder this out. Okay, so they attack my queen with that move, but they just lose their, oh no, they don't lose their knight because they have a bishop there. I mean, I definitely just take anyway, though. No, they have a fork now. See, I told you guys. So, well, it's not a fork though, because I'm defending that fork with my queen. Okay, and it's a check also, so yeah, should be fine. But I need to be aware of this fork for sure. I think now I just move my rook behind. I'm not even gonna castle. I'm just gonna move this like that, I think. And just make them trade queens or something. I know the simple thing is just to trade, but I'm wondering if I go here, if that's not a little bit more annoying for them. Because I don't see this knight going anywhere useful. Like, where's it going to go from here? What do I care about this knight? You know what I mean? I'll just take it. I'm going to overthink this shit. Okay, I can trade queens now. Is that what I want to do? Am I really up 9? It doesn't feel like I'm up that much. Bishop. If we trade queens, there'll be bishop knight against rook and more rook bishop and more pawns. So I guess so, but this doesn't even really force a trade. It probably will, but it doesn't technically force one. Maybe should I just castle before I do anything else? What if? Oh, I didn't mean to click actually, but it's probably okay. Hopefully. I just don't think they have much. I just want to get my rooks connected before anything really scary could happen, and get my knight. Or I always say knight and king flipped around. Okay, so that's what I thought they were gonna do, but does this really threaten anything at all? I guess it's threatening this, but I'm gonna move that rook now. So. I should just be, I mean, I can't do it yet, but I should just be pushing these 2 pawns. He's got, I can just get across that bishop easy. Okay, back there, sure. Actually, why not just link up my rooks, get my rook here, and just go in. I'm not sure what's better. I mean, that's gotta be pretty fucking good. Oh yeah, checkmate too. Oh, I could have done this. Yeah, that looks good, doesn't it? And then, no, that's not a good move, is it? Checkmate into, I see. I'm really bad at spotting the, like, I have to, you see me do it, I click the squares and stuff to visualize where the king can go. It's really more difficult than it should be for some reason for me to like visualize what squares are being attacked or whatever. I'm getting better at it, but it's like not so good. Okay, there's 9. Wow, awesome. I gotta tell my friend that I beat a 1400 guy. Okay. Where was the checkmate in 2 that you saw? So does lead chess not have? Oh, there's the engine. Okay. This doesn't show like what you should have done at all, does it? It just shows you the. Alright, whatever. So you said, where was the checkmate in 2, you think? From this position, or? Oh, yeah, instead of going here, I should have just immediately, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there. You're right, yeah. I should have just lined that up. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, it just was this like reaction, like, oh, my rook is being attacked. I need to attack the knight back. I didn't think of like the fact that I actually just want to go here in the first place. Based on the way that guy was playing, I don't think he would have prevented it. It didn't feel like he was preventing much of anything. Now my rating is like really fucking high. There's like, there's no way this is gonna continue. I get to be white again? Really? 1575, holy fuck. This is a Dutch defense. Okay, I'm just gonna do the normal thing here. Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't see that on time. I'll play the next one with you. What was you say your rating was again? I really dislike playing against AIs. To me, the whole point of gaming is like playing against another human. I really do not get much out of, yeah, Stride, yours. I really don't get much out of playing against a computer in most games, especially like a fighting game is the worst one. The chin stroking bit, I deleted it because I kept getting too many annoying comments on it. Sorry. I might have it, if it's on, if I didn't delete it and I just made it private, I'll see if I can find it and I'll make it available again. I kept getting like a random annoying comments from it and I just got sick of reading them. Like I know I could have just not read them, but it just was getting on my nerves a little bit. So I've never had an opponent use this defense on me. I'm not really sure what the fuck is happening with it. I'm looking at this though and wondering if that's good or not. It's probably not. I think I just want to, given that I don't know what's going on here, I think I'm just going to develop like as normal as I can. What do you think your rating is? Okay, this is crazy. I don't know what the fuck this isn't even a Dutch defense, is it? This is just like some bonkers shit here. What if I just go for the fork now? What are they gonna do? They haven't developed normally at all, so can they actually prevent it in any way? They could do the normal, I guess they can do the normal knight move, but that's good to force out here. I think I'm gonna go for it. Oh, they just let me. Oh, they blocked it. Okay. Sure, fair enough. So they block it. That's fine. I'm just gonna develop. I never know, like, this doesn't look good considering the defense they're playing. I don't think this normal move I make is any good. So I'm not like in a huge rush to develop my bishop, really. Although maybe I'll just play my knight out. I don't know. I have basically no right to win this game, so. I'll check if that chin stroking vid is there. I think it was like called Why You Were Bad at Fighting Games or something. Or like why what was it called? You're playing plus R. Nice. That's a fun game. Okay. So they just castled. I have a check now. They castled right into a check. I don't think the check really does anything, as far as I can tell. It allows me to develop without losing any tempo, I guess. So normally I jump to here, but my opponent is doing something totally different and I can't get there. I could go here. I don't think that's an especially good place to be. Like there's this potential fork, but that rook is like right there. And I don't expect that rook is going to be moving anytime soon. I could just castle. I kind of want to try to push this pawn and open up this file and line my rook up on their king. I'm going to just go ahead and try that. I really don't know what my opponent is doing. It's like kind of this effect where I'm playing against somebody so much higher ranked than me that I'm not like, I'd be more afraid playing against a lower rated player because I'm not expected to win at all, right? Like if I lose, I'm like, well, of course I lost. But yeah, I've been working, like I got my kid in daycare now, so I've been working really hard at my real job, and I've done really well so far since I quit playing Magic. That was like as soon as I quit playing Magic. I think like now that I've had some time to reflect on it though, I think the way I was playing Magic was just like this. I was basically like coping with depression. It was like using drugs basically. It wasn't like I just was like I was not in any way, not anyway, but I was in many ways very unhappy with my life, and I had to do something. But whoa, what is this? That just looks bad, doesn't it? Because then they have to move the rook. Dude, what is with this take back shit? No, fuck off. And now proposing a take back to me is just like, okay, dude, of course it was a bad move. Now I'm gonna just take it. Like you're just admitting I was like, dude, what if he's got some badass tactic? This is the second fucking misclick. Okay, dude. I mean, it was the pawn. All right. All right. I'm just, as a rule, I am never accepting a take back. I'm just stating that right now. I don't care. I don't like the fact that lead chess allows you to even propose a take back. I think you need to. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Let me get out of this. Get out. How do I stop it? Do you want to play stride? Was this you? Yeah. Oh, I get to play white. Sick. But yeah, the fighting games never got too addictive to me. Like, I never really enjoyed playing them online, so that always prevented me from having it really be much of an issue. Like, I might play all night with my friends or something, but it also felt like I was hanging out with my friends, and that was like a lot more okay to me. Whereas, you know, the like playing Magic was just the most. Yeah, I actually played Plus R online for like a month or two back in maybe like 2009 or something like that, like pretty long ago. But it was good. And Plus R. Oh no, I played Reload back when they only had net play for Reload. I never played Plus R actually. Plus R was a Guilty Gear game I never really spent much time on. I spent the most time on Reload and Slash. All right. So let's see. I don't want to talk too much about my thoughts here because my opponent is in chat. Yeah, blocking Eddie was never easy, man. It was in Reload he was especially like in Slash he wasn't actually very good. I think in Plus R he got better again, if I recall correctly. Then I wasn't back when I actually played Guilty Gear. I wasn't actually that good. Like it was that's when I started getting good. That's when I learned all the fundamentals of fighting games. But at my actual play, I wasn't that good. I was very inconsistent with my combos. I didn't really understand Oki. I understood that Oki was really important, but I didn't really understand how to use it without going like really hard in on like a command grab or something. Like doing things like a frame trap were really not something that was on my radar when I played Guilty Gear originally. Okay, let's see. What's like the tier list on Plus R? Is it? I can't really remember who's the best in that game. Yeah, I never know where to put my bishop here. Oh yeah, Testament's really good. That's right. So I didn't realize biking was that good. Biking was actually the first character I really played seriously. And I could just never do her in reload. I don't remember what her combos are like in plus R, but in like reload and slash on her dust loop, she had like, there was a part where you're falling and you had to input a dash as she was falling at just the right moment before she hit the ground, and you could continue the loop. And I just never could get that dash timing down back when I played. I went back and tried it later and it wasn't that hard, but when I was like new at fighting games, I just couldn't get a grip on it. Alright, what am I doing here? Suspend. The first character I played a lot was Biken, but this was just, you know, when oh, they took out the corner dust, so that's boring. I really didn't like plus R, honestly. Like, it might be a good game, but they changed too many things in plus R. Like, they gave Kai that weird follow up to his DP. They made Robo-Kai really shitty. I guess Robo-Kai was the worst in Slash, but they just changed a lot of stuff in that game, and I feel like it was just too much. So that was like my impression of that game at the time. Alright, well, this seems fine for me. This is like, I've had this exchange happen before, and I feel like it always favors me when people do this, because now I have an open file. I have another central pawn. This pawn is more centralized. I have a nice structure here still. So I'm pretty okay with that exchange. But yeah, like when I first started playing, I was playing Biken, and I had no idea. Like, I wasn't even playing Biken. I was just, it wouldn't have mattered what character I was using. I was just playing against Alex G's Dizzy and just getting bodied. And then this guy Chaden was like really good with Johnny, and I was just like a punching bag for like months. And then I very slowly started to like be able to occasionally do stuff, but then I randomly just switched to Mei because I thought I was still just so bad it didn't really matter what character I used, but I stayed with Mei for the rest of the time. Yeah, I played Mei, and then it was let's see. And then as Mei, I learned to do some things like, but I never got her. All the combos in that game were pretty hard. I think I never played a super easy character, but like Mei's combos were relatively difficult. There were a lot of weird. I picked Kai because he was just like, I like the grinder setups. I just wanted to play like Ryu. Like, I always regretted in Street Fighter 4. I just wish I had played Ryu. I just think Ryu is like the most fun character, basically, and I was like, to me, Kai felt the most like Ryu, and so I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna play Ryu. Yeah, dude, it was like I wasn't even trying to. I just knew I wanted to be good, but I didn't like. It was back before you couldn't even watch a video. So like, if you, like, this is literally what I was dealing with. I go on the dust loop and I look up Mei's bread and butter combo, and I see them say, okay, you do like 5K, 2D, horizontal, dolphin, FRC, jumping hard slash, and then it was like you land and then instant air dash, jumping kick, jumping high slash, vertical dolphin. This was the reload bread and butter for me. And it was like, I look at this and I go into training mode, and I literally was doing 5K 2D, and then I was doing OTG horizontal dolphin because I couldn't conceptualize the idea that you could actually cancel 2D into horizontal dolphin. Like, I just didn't get it. And then I had the post, and I was like, how is this working? My combo is knocking them down. They're like, yeah, you got to do it really fast. Like I had to act because there was no videos. Like you couldn't even look stuff up. This is like 2005 or something. And so then I tried to do it, and it was like what nobody told me is like the FRC timing is very specific, and if you do it wrong, it like pops them up or something, or you pop up. I can't remember exactly, and it didn't work. And then I could eventually get that a little bit, but then I couldn't get the instant air dash correct. And then I occasionally could get this, and then like her other combo was like overhead kiss, which is the command grab, and then you had to do close slash, jump install, 5HS, vertical dolphin was the beginning of the command grab combo. And so I remember I was trying to, like, the guys that I was playing with at one point were like, dude, like, you got to learn some combos, because like I wasn't doing any combos. And they're like, do you know how to jump install? And I just was like, no. And that was that. Like, just like, no, I'm not going to be able to jump. I just knew. I knew I wouldn't be able to jump install. Just like, no, dude, forget it. Somehow I didn't anticipate this move, and I don't know why, but I didn't. Now I'm trying to find some kind of counterplay because this is not good for me. Yeah, Ryu is like, I mean, honestly, like, I think if you're good at fighting game fundamentals, it's like really hard to not think Ryu is fun. I think just most people that don't like him are scrubs. I mean, if you don't like him and you're not, and you actually know what you're doing, like, give me a good argument and I'll probably accept it. But yeah, I really like the fightable game too. And then I was really disappointed that Ryu sucked in Street Fighter Five. I actually really thought Bison was a cool character, like Dictator was a cool character in SF5. Oh, that move wasn't as good as I thought it was. Yeah, fuck. I mean, it could be worse, I guess. Let's see. It could be worse, but it's not. Well, actually, hold on here. I think this is good for me. The stun edge YOC of chess is it's probably, let me think. The stun edge YOC of chess is actually like maybe a check. Hard to say. Yeah, I think Street Fighter V was really problematic and bad in a lot of ways. So my focus is getting split really bad here. I'm talking, like, I'm glad you guys are talking. Like, it's nice to be able to talk to people, but it's making me play very slowly. I apologize. I play really slowly anyway. So I had some like big plan a second ago. I'm not being able to talk about it because the guy's watching too. But let's see if I go there. No, that plan is now gone. Unless no, I think maybe it's okay. Maybe I still got it. So stun edge YRC, you do it, you spend 25% meter, and you just get to go in. It's like a free. You're using some meter to just like get to go in. So, like the chess equivalent, there's no meter, but maybe like, I don't know. It's really hard. Sometimes it's really hard to draw comparisons like that. I always try to though. Like I do always try to think about stuff like that, like what is the equivalent or whatever. But I wouldn't say pushing with rook though. Like your rooks. Yeah, maybe I guess maybe like a pawn with a rook behind it is actually a good comparison if that's what you meant. That does make sense. So I have a pretty sick plan for this game that I think is kind of cool. That might work. It might not. We'll see. I think Strife will see it though, and it won't work. But yeah, I think Street Fighter 4 just made the mistake of like they created these set play characters, but they never really found out how to balance them properly, and it was like their answer was just all the really good set play characters were simply like big dumb. They were dumb offensive retards that had like no hit points, right? Like that was basically their solution is just any character that had good set play or a Vortex just had like no HP, and they're just like, yeah, that's how we're gonna balance it. And it's like Akuma. There's this guy in my local scene named Petey. I think. Let's see if there's any match. There should be match videos of this guy. These are bar fights. I don't know, CEO bar fights. This guy was a fucking machine. I kind of hated him. I liked him as a person, but he was like my fighting game rival in Gainesville. Because here's what happened. I went to China, and I felt like I was leveling up a bunch in China. I was like, yeah, dude, I'm leveling the fuck up here, and I'm gonna come back to Gainesville and just blow everyone away with my Chun that I like never played Chun until I went to Gainesville, until I went to China. Sorry. Oh, dude, I blundered my queen. Okay, you stopped it. Congrats. Fuck. Yeah, well, that was checkmate in one if you didn't notice that I blundered my queen, so congrats on finding that. I was testing you. No, it was like a legit, really bad. Yeah, I tried to play it in China, but it was like I didn't have a way to practice it at home, and it was like I think if I had just sucked it up and played it, I would have gotten good at it. But there was enough of a Street Fighter 4 scene which I already knew how to play, and I just was like, I just gave up. I just didn't bother continuing to try to play that game. Okay, so I blundered my queen, and I don't know if I can actually win now, but let's see. Fuck. Yeah, that was really bad, dude. I was tunnel visioned on the potential checkmate and didn't realize I was just straight up blundering. Fuck. And now my position just feels awful. I mean, I was in China in like 2009, 2010. I was there because I was teaching, like, I was teaching English there, but oh, now I hung my bishop too. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I should just resign now, I think. But dude. Cool, cool, cool. I think I saw that the knight was there, but not the pawn. But anyway, yeah, I'll play faster, dude. Sorry. If you just want me to concede, I will. Like, I'll try. I wanted to play it out so you don't just like win on a blunder. But if you want to have the satisfaction of converting the win to against me, but yeah, I was teaching English there, and I mainly went there to. Are you checkmated me? Oh yeah, you're not. That's not a bishop. That's a queen. What the fuck did I think was gonna happen there? I was like, well, dude, if I go here, he can't back rank me because I'll be able to take him. That's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, there's a back rank, but he won't be able to get it if I block him from going into the back rank. It's like, yeah, just take it. Oh, good game. Yeah, but people like when I was there, it was like 2009, 2010. So like Guilty Gear was like the most dead. You know, the Guilty Gear had been dead long enough, and Xrd was so far off, it just wasn't on the. There was actually one Guilty Gear machine at one of the arcades I went to, but it was like, you know, it was in a row of other like. It was like between like Bubble Bobble and some other game, and it was like no one played it. You know, it just wasn't a thing. But Street Fighter 4 was pretty big when I was there. It was like Street Fighter 4 and KOF and Tekken, whatever Tekken game was big at that point. There was actually like this girl that played Tekken there, and it was like she was the best Tekken player in the arcade, and she was just like this girl, and I met her boyfriend would always be like hanging around the arcade playing this like drum game, and he started talking to me, and he's like, I don't understand my girlfriend, like why does she want to play this game over and over all the time, all day? And I was like, I understand. Tekken 5VR, let me see. It had like red something or whatever. Yeah, that looks, I don't remember which one it was. But yeah, it was. So anyway, back to this PD guy. I got back from. All right, so my opponent is 1544. Holy fuck! And this is the opening I'm the least familiar with. I'm just gonna get blown out here. I'll just do a Dutch. I don't actually know how to do a Dutch. This is the extent of my Dutch knowledge. Is this move? Do I move my knight now? Feels like I should, but I can get tempoed out if I do that. I'm gonna just do this, I guess. No idea what I'm doing here. But so I get back from China, and this guy PD. Let me see if I can find his video. There's no videos here. What's his result? Yeah, I can speak. The reason I actually went to China was to get my Mandarin. I already spoke Mandarin before I went there, and I was trying to get better at it, and I used teaching as a reason to be there, basically. And so I learned like a lot of the fighting game terms in Mandarin because all the people I played with just were we never spoke English or anything. But there was always this like I found the cultural barrier much more significant than the linguistic barrier, if that makes sense. And it just like became this thing where I didn't really want to learn it at some point, you know? Like I just was kind of done with it. Wake up DP. I think qi sheng, qi sheng long quan. Qi sheng. I think qi. It's like shanti. Do you speak Mandarin at all? Shanti, like. I don't have a Chinese keyboard even. I almost never use Chinese anymore. Like this. I think. Doesn't seem like it doesn't. It must be, maybe it's not. I always thought it was shun. Dude, I don't remember. Yeah, it was like, sometimes I was in Chongqing, so they always, like, everyone spoke with, like, a weird dialect with all the tones all fucked up, and the G's are never enunciated. Qisheng. Like, I know Long Quan is Dragon Punch, and then I always thought it was Qisheng. What could it be if it's not that? It's not that. I mean, yeah, it's gotta be Qisheng Long Quan. I'm pretty sure that's right, but let's see. Sorry, I need to focus on this game a little bit. What is going on in this opening? I'm gonna move my knight here just so I can get it here. I'm just trying to make developing moves if I can. It's like, I actually tried making some language learning vids before, but it just like, it's so much fucking work, man. Like, I think I even made like a lesson plan or something. Let me see if I can find it. I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it. I do have very strong opinions about how to learn a language, by the way. But yeah, like, the thing with Mandarin is, it's such a, yeah, I can give, the thing with learning a language is like, you basically shouldn't do it, honestly. Like, that's kind of my strong opinion, is like, it's not really worth it in most cases to learn it. And like I would say 90 to 95% of people of native English speakers who attempt to learn another language will never become proficient. So the odds are just like insanely stacked against you of it ever being worth it in any way, if that makes sense. And then if you're able to like defy the odds and do it, congratulations, you have this thing that you're probably not really gonna like I speak German and Mandarin, and my German is really good, but my Mandarin is like decayed a lot. But like I can still, like, if I were in China again, I would be fine. Like it wouldn't be like super comfortable. Like I would be, I do struggle at times. How did I fuck that up? Oh, en passant. Fuck me, dude. I forget about en passant. It's like, of course this guy's not gonna forget it. He's 1544. Um, all right, I'm just gonna try the force of trade, which isn't even good, but it's because of a lack of motivation is the reason that people fail. Because you don't, like I said, you shouldn't do it. And I think what happens is when you have this initial burst of, oh, this is really fun, I really enjoy this, it's cool, I'm saying these new words and I'm starting to understand another language, and then you hit the plateau where you have to like you have to just keep fucking drilling it to get what feel like minor gains, and you ask yourself, well, why am I doing this? Do I really want to speak Mandarin? And for most people the answer is always going to be no, I don't, it's not worth it. And the exception to that would be like if you're in China, then yeah, you probably really do want to speak it. I mean, if you get to that point, especially, like there's a lot of Western people in China that can't really speak Chinese. Like it's really common. They will always have, not always, but most of them will have a super rudimentary ability. Like they can order stuff on menus and this is so brutal. Look at that. Look at that. Fuck. But they won't really be able to hold it, like communicate in any real capacity in Mandarin. And even those people, you like the amount of people like that who are in China and can't speak it tells you like what is your chance of actually learning it when you're not in China, like when you're just and Mandarin is really hard. Like Mandarin is like the pronunciation is something that most people never really grapple get very well or anything. And like beyond that, there's also the dialect issue, where it's like, for example, in Chongqing you have like I can't really speak Chongqinghua, but Chongqinghua is like a dialect. But then you have they call it like Chuanpu. Chuanpu is like a Mandarin with a Chongqing dialect accent. So I go to Chongqing and like I get there and I learned what, like if I want to say I don't know, I say 我不知道 or 不知道. In Chongqing you say 我晓不得. Just like totally different. It's not totally different, but it's very different. 我晓不得. And so I was like asking this guy, I was like at this guy's store, and I'm in just like this tiny little store. I'm like, do you have this thing? And he's like, 我晓不得. And I was like, I was just like, dude, I don't know what that means. Like, I was like, I was asking 有没有 I was like, do you have it? And he says 没得. So in Chongqing you say 得没得 没得. 没得 is I don't have it. Instead of 没有 you say 没得. And so he's just like 没得. And I'm like, yo 没有. So 没得. He just refuses to speak Mandarin. Like he knows what I'm saying, he just will not speak Mandarin. Even though I'm like a fucking white guy. Like give me, like I've come 95% of the way to meet you so that we can communicate with each other. I need you to come the other 1% of the way and speak Mandarin to me, and he just won't do it. And so like obviously I learned like 晓不得 没得, but you can do the whole language like that. You got the whole fucking language sounds like a different language basically, and they'll do that. And it's just like, and then my parents-in-law is the same thing, except they're not from Chongqing, they're from Shandong. So they have, instead of saying so 我不知道, and then Chongqing is 晓不得, and then Shandong is 我知不道. So they like, it's just like complete, you just have to learn like all this bullshit beyond the bullshit you've already had to endure to learn. I'm just losing this game, right? But then, so then my friends that were playing Street Fighter, they were all these guys from Chongqing too, and because they're younger, they would be willing to speak more close to Mandarin to me, but not entirely Mandarin. The tones were all different and stuff, and some of the words would be different. And so when they would teach me a new word, it was like the wrong tones, you know. And then the tone, it's a tonal language, so the wrong tones is kind of a big deal. Yeah, IPA will help you a lot if you want to get good at pronunciation. Like I really like IPA, and I majored in linguistics, and I like phonology was the main thing I was interested in like as far as linguistic stuff goes. What if I take a like queen here? Does that like open anything good for me? Not really. It probably just exposes my queen to danger. I'm just like getting it fucked here. This is pinned, I can't take back with that. This knight is fucking me here. Let's see if I can castle maybe. This looks like an okay move. So to learn like if my actual advice, if you decide you actually do want to learn a language, is and I can learn, I can read Chinese kind of. It's just like here's the problem with Chinese. Like, let me find an example. I'm trying something I'm more likely to be able to read pretty well. I don't know what the fuck this is. But so like I'll try to show you how well I can read. But here's the problem with Chinese. Like, so this is like 7月1日起，全国发放100万元消费。Yeah, 券. So I knew this was 券. I thought this might have been 券, but it's 券. And I don't know what that is either. I just know like, and this is like 致富预挣点开枪, I think. 支付宝. So this is 宝, and I said 预. But so like you see it and you just don't know. Like sometimes you just don't know the fucking character. And this is Kai Chang, and Kai Chang is like shoot a gun or something. But it's just like you, and then I'll get in here like I bet you I can find an entire sentence I can't read sometimes. Like wait, this is talking about a store, but like I just really, it's just a fucking hassle to read for me. Like that's the best way to explain it. Like wei fu, is this might be fu chi. See, I just don't like, I don't know, like sometimes I know what it means but I can't pronounce it. Sometimes I pronounce it and I can't read it, and it just gets to be like not. And if I just wanted to really do it, I could just get a novel and just force myself, just keep reading novels and force myself until I get it, and I would get pretty good at it. But it's just like, why? Like, why do I want to do that? You know what I mean? Like, what's the grand payoff for that? Like, I'm 37 or something, and my wife is Chinese, my kid is Chinese. Like, at some point I'm gonna go back to China, but okay, what is he doing here? So that this move felt good. Do I have any play with this? Maybe somehow. I wanted to castle is what I was going for. Let's just castle. Yeah, Russian and German are cool. I actually did learn Russian for like sort of for like a semester, but I was learning in Germany and I didn't really get into it that much. But Russian and German both have a case system, pretty extensive case system. Russian's is more interesting and it inflects on more stuff. German's is weird because it doesn't really, I would say the case system in German is harder because it's less prevalent and it feels like less important, whereas in Russian, if you actually like if you want to speak it whatsoever, you have to have the cases down. Like you cannot even function without like basic things like saying that somebody has something. You have to know like accusative case and their name has to inflect, like people's names will inflect in the cases and stuff. Like if you're looking at Sasha, it's Sashu instead of Sasha. And then like if you're with Sasha, I think it's like Sashyam or something, and it changes their name based on the case and stuff. But in German, it's just like the words like the and a and an, and the adjectives and stuff might change a little bit, but there's not these significant things. And I want to know if that's true. Who's that? I don't know. I think if you're learning German just to read stuff, like, I think German philosophy's, I don't want to say boring, but I'm not going to read it. I can read it, but I'm not going to. But I like reading like Hermann Hesse is one of my favorite authors, so I've read like all of his books in German, and it definitely, if you really like something, it's definitely cool to read it in German versus in English, like for sure. And there will occasionally be things that I like. There's a scene in Steppenwolf where he's talking to this lady, and she was like, they're talking about like, he's calling her the formal version of you, and she's like you can just call me the other like Z, like Z is the formal, du is the informal. So he's like, I don't know, she said in German, she's like, yeah, du kannst ruhig dutzen, and he's like, yeah, ich will nicht dutzen, and dutzen is like to call somebody du, but I was like, how are they going to translate that? And I checked the translation, and it was like the translator decided they didn't want to have any translation notes, so she's like, you can call me thou. And he's like, I'm like, what the fuck? And it was like the most confusing and bad translation I'd seen, but like, you can call me thou. Like, okay. For those of us that remember that thou was actually the informal and not the formal one, but which is most people think is the other way around. But this translator apparently thought that was a good way to handle that. I don't know what I'm doing in this game. I never used Anki or Flash. I'm not really a flashcard guy. To learn the characters, I just wrote them all out hundreds of times. Like, my method for learning Chinese was memorizing the chapters. I would get a book, like, get a textbook. Integrated Chinese is pretty good. I don't know. This is like, I think this is the edition. I had this edition, I think. This is what mine looked like, but I doubt it matters that much. Like, let me see if they have like a preview or something here. But you don't want to do any bullshit. Like, you don't want to use Rosetta Stone. You don't want to use some software. You don't want to use Pimsleur. You need to get a really boring textbook, the most boring textbook you can find. And you want a textbook where the chapters are like dialogues. And obviously, I don't even know what to tell you about the beginning stages of learning, because I did it in a class. I did end up having to self-study a lot, but I started with the class. Okay, so this is pinned, otherwise I'm going to lose my queen. I'm thinking of just going in here now. I don't know, I'm not really focusing on this game anymore. But get one, like, but yeah, like, you got to do some, I don't know what to do with it. Like, pronunciation is really important, and you have to learn pinyin, and it's going to take you a lot of work to learn this, and I don't think you can learn it from a book in any way at all. You have to use supplement from the internet somehow, but you're going to need somebody to actually correct you and practice with you. I would hire a Chinese teacher on Zoom or something to get you through this initial slog. But then here's the dialogue. So I literally memorized these dialogues for like the first 20 chapters, and I could write and speak them from memory, because that was like, it sounds like an insane way to do it, but it's actually ended up feeling the most efficient, like, because it just, you have to, it's not easy to learn a language. It's never going to be easy. Anything that tries to make you feel like it's going to be easier is lying to you and trying to take your money away. That's why like Rosetta Stone is just shit. It's just total shit. And dude, do I have something going on here? Really feels like maybe something I gotta check here, and maybe you can start eating some pieces or something. Not this piece though, but if I check here, does that open anything up? I've got a battery here. I just can't figure out what to do with it. I could go here and do a check. It doesn't really do much, does it? They just take back here. No, that's not good. I need to like get my knight in a better spot. Maybe it's in a pretty okay. It's not really in a good spot. What's this knight doing? Can I get my rook in? Not really. Yeah, for a Zoom tutor in Chinese is very practical. It's a very good deal. But yeah, for German, you're not going to be able to find a German that will do it for a cheap price, I don't think. But these dialogue-based ones are the best way to do it. Like, and you don't want, and this is a good book. So there's no, and never look at the English translation. Like, never try to translate. You just got to read this and understand it, and then it teaches you this stuff. And this book is good. It doesn't even show you a translation. It's just not even there. You got to work it out with yourself what it means. And you know, you get, by the time you're like deeper in here, you've got there are numbers and days of the week, asking, do you like Chinese food, American food? You're really building your vocabulary. You're learning how to ask questions. You're getting all the grammar structures in there, and it really starts to build up. And I was, you know, after a decent, basically busting my ass for like 2 years. My main hobby was studying Chinese for like 2 years. It allowed me to go to China and be able to speak Chinese when I got there. Like, but not like super well, or pretty good, but not perfect, or not like I never really reached a point where I could just open a novel and read a Chinese novel. Like I've never hit that level. I really struggle to follow people's conversations. Like if I'm talking to somebody in Chinese, I'm pretty okay with it. But when like multiple Chinese people are talking to themselves, I just can't really, I just zone out. Like I can't do it really. Oh, I'm not gonna move there, no. I liked it there to an extent. Like there are things I really like about China and living in China. There's really nice things about living there, but there's also things I really fucking hate. And I was only there for 1 year, and by the end of that year, I was pretty ready to leave. But I mean, it's like I mentioned, the culture thing is really what got me. Like the culture. No, classical Chinese. I it sounds like I've tried to learn everything, but I did spend some time learning some classical Chinese, and it's a totally different language. Basically, it's the grammar is totally different. It uses the characters, but the way that it would have been spoken at that time or like Middle Chinese, late like later Old Chinese, Middle Chinese, when classical Chinese was like the lingua franca of Asia or whatever. Like there was no, it didn't sound anything like it does now. But we can pronounce it, because it still uses the characters. You can just read it as if you were reading Mandarin. But if you read in a certain dialect, like the poems will have better sound to them. For example, my opponent is in time trouble. I could actually try to win on like timer scamming here, maybe, if I just like go for it. I'm just gonna do this. I don't know. This looks like a forcing move. Except they have this, which I didn't. I remembered that in the last turn, but I forgot it now. Yeah, fuck. No, I got this now though, and they take. Yeah, let's just try it. Whatever. I don't think this is gonna favor me, but I'm just gonna try to win on time, if I can. Yeah, I guess it's not really a timer scam, but. But classical Chinese is a lot more like Japanese in some aspects. Like you have the classical Chinese does that thing where once the subject is established, you don't have to say it anymore, and I found that really difficult because modern Mandarin doesn't do that at all. You always say the subject of a sentence, but I know like Japanese does the same thing where you can once it's clear what the subject is, you just like don't even need to mention it or whatever. And I found that really confusing and annoying a lot of the time. And okay, so they take with their queen. I'm gonna queen trade because I'm sure it's pretty cool once you get used to it, but at least in class, I never really learned much Japanese, but I know that it does that. And maybe it's easier to deal with in Japanese to some extent. I need to get my rook in somehow. Make it 10 different moves to get this in, but this fucking like pawn triangle here. Maybe I should just take no. I'm gonna take this next and try to pick off this pawn. I just want to reduce their material and beat on time if I can. I mean Mandarin is going to be harder to learn. Like if I had yeah, Mandarin is definitely harder. But that's the thing with the languages is like you could learn, like my career is I self-publish romance novels, and that took me like several months of intense work to get really good at, to the point that I was making a career out of it, and it's been my career since, and I've never regretted that at all. And then Mandarin was inordinately more difficult and time consuming to learn than that, and it has done very little for me in my life. I didn't notice that was hanging. Fuck. Fork, but not really because it's just a trade. But although, oh, they got a check. Fuck. Scary. This is looking bad. I'm gonna go here. No, I should have probably gone here. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, writing books is a thing that I'm like, I only write stuff that will make money. I don't, it's called like writing to market. You don't write something unless you know you're going to make money off of it. That's my philosophy with writing. So I don't, and I know that's not a normal attitude or something, but my opponent's got +9 material here. Okay. I just gotta play fast. Like I can actually win on time here. I don't even really want to win. Like I don't want my rating to keep going higher. Oh, dude. How can I complicate this for him? I don't know. Probably can't. But yeah, like I mean, a self-help book theoretically could make money, but what I do is I look and see what is actually making money, and then I just write that. Like it's not about what I want to write, it's about what will make money, and then I write that. But that skill, which has completely made my life better in every way, is like took me a few months of really hard work to get. And then Mandarin, any language, you're just going to be completely busting your ass forever. And why? And the other thing is, like, you're going to bust your ass. So like, say for German, you could bust your ass, or you could just, if you end up just going to Germany, then suddenly you're not having to bust your ass anymore. You just kind of like chill and have fun with it, and you're gonna learn it or whatever. Well, I just fucking hung my rook like that. Nice. Okay. I should just like resign. I don't want. He's gonna win because he gets 10 seconds every turn. There's no way I can win. Oh shit, he hung his rook and I didn't notice it. Oh, I haven't checked me now. Yeah, he's not gonna let me out of check now, is he? Yeah, I mean, an oversaturated market can be good, by the way, because like, well, not oversaturated, but when a market is saturated, it means that there's a lot of readers, at least, right? Like, you're not going to have a saturated market with no readers. So it just depends sometimes. Fuck. I'm just going to resign. There's no way I'm doing this. I can't believe, like, I guess I was never really winning that one at all, but he's 1500 rating. Like, I think I blundered, I don't know. No, I never played multi-blend. It's just like, I don't know. I never got into any of the anime games, basically. I never liked that. One thing I dislike in the FGC sometimes is, like, somebody mentioned this earlier about Street Fighter V, like, fucking their scene up. And I always felt these games that, like, I don't actually have anything against the game, and maybe they are really good games. Like, that's not my point. My point is, like, a game like Multi Blend always just feels to me like it's never going to be big. Like Melty Blood is never ever ever going to be even as big as Guilty Gear in any given fighting game scene. And so what it ends up doing is it chips away people, and then you have people playing Melty Blood in a corner instead of getting your pool of people playing the main game better. Because that's what I really liked about the Street Fighter 4 era when Street Fighter 4 first hit before Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out, is that it was like you always, like everyone was playing the same game. And that was really fun. And then as soon as Marvel came out, it was like half and half. And then there was like half of the scene of people I'm not playing with because I don't play Marvel. And I didn't have to, like, even then I didn't have time to split it between two games. And I definitely don't now. And then to me, Melty Blood is something that's even worse than that, because it's like Marvel at least was like half of the scene, basically. You know, it was big enough that it was a real thing. But Melty Blood and some fucking like Injustice game or whatever would come out, and there was always some new not shitty, but like a new little minor game that was coming out, and there was always like a subset of people that would get sucked off and play that for like a month and a half, and then they were done with it and they were playing the next little game that came out. And it just was like, I just wanted to be like, dude, can you guys just like play Street Fighter or Marvel, because we don't have enough people to lose like playing Melty Blood or whatever. And it just, that was my reason for never playing it. But at the same time, it can be fun to like get into that kind of stuff, for sure. It's just for me personally, and not my thing. All right. I'm not really enjoying playing these people that are super high rating at this point. Like, I don't, my rating should never be this high. It's kind of cool though, like that they're playing, like I'm playing a game other than just like see if they can blunder. Although that's how I won the other games I did win at this rating, so I don't know. But yeah, like I guess I'll just but I'm done for tonight though, because I don't want to be up too late. The weekend sucks ass, dude. Like when you have a kid, you have to wake up at like 7 a.m. on the weekend, and then you're just with your kid all day. That's all you're doing. You don't get to chill, you don't get to relax, you don't get to do anything. You just like with your kid the whole time. I don't think it's gonna sell well, no. I think define well, like I think it will do $1 million plus. Is that good? How much did Street Fighter 4 sell or whatever? No, I had gray hair, but it's got in like, it used to be I had like some gray hairs. I think my hair is like half gray already. 1 million would be well. Oh, 1 million plus would be well, okay. I don't know, I can't see it doing like significantly better than, say, like Xrd did, the initial first release of Xrd or whatever. I'm doing incognito tab to see like what the games it shows. It used to be able to like just view by viewer numbers, but it looks like they don't do that anymore. Oh yeah, okay. I guess Twitch is a bad way to look, but Street Fighter 4 sold 9 million, Tekken just passed 7 million. Okay. And 1 million. I mean, yeah, 1 million is probably good for Guilty Gear, right? But do I think Strive is going to get like, and I don't like, I'm not, what do I know about sales numbers, but I think it's not going to sell like in a different bracket than Xrd did. Like, it's just yeah, and it's sad. Like, I just don't think there's ever a solution to make a fighting game accessible. Like, Street Fighter is just, I don't know, it's weird. Like, Tekken, you wouldn't think Tekken would do that well. I guess it's just the biggest 3D fighter, but like, I don't know, man. The casual players buy fighting games for weird reasons, and Guilty Gear typically just gets those like Weibo people will buy it because they like the character design or the storyline or whatever. And by the way, that's why I deleted that video, because I like made fun of somebody's fan art in the beginning of the video, and I just kept getting these like really nasty comments, like dude, I wasn't specifically trying to make fun of somebody's fan art. It just was like, the topic is if Strive is going to do well or not. Like, what I don't think is going to happen, I don't think Strive, like, I don't actually care about sales numbers that much. I care about what it will do in the Western fighting game scene. And I don't think it's going to do better than Xrd. And Xrd didn't really do very well. So, like, and from what I've watched of JM Crofts, helped me make those first videos that I made. I thought it was really funny. Like, I lost contact with him for like 10 years, 11, 12 years or something. And then I just realized like one day, like a year or two ago, I was like, oh, he's got like a big fighting game YouTube channel. I didn't even know that. The unanimous praise. Who? Who's that other Kai player? The guy's name I forgot about. Ein? 1 year ago. Come on, man. Can somebody link, like, what do I search in YouTube to get an actual... I don't trust these like random sites saying it's high level play. I want a Japanese player. I never got good, or even I never played a Marvel game basically. But I did occasionally watch, and like it was I think it's really interesting, honestly. I think it's like a really interesting Fenrish. And I think it was like really interesting the way the meter management and stuff is, and that you like managing your different characters and tag-ins and all that stuff is like really cool looking to me, and it looked like it would be really fun, but I just never did it. That's my main I think it's interesting and cool, but I never got into a game that has like tag-ins and assists and stuff like that. This game just feels so like clunky to me, is the best word I have for it. It's just like I don't quite get it or something. Like I don't know what I'm even seeing, and it's like I've never been somebody who's very good at like analyzing potential of a game, for example. Like that was a kind of cool combo, I guess. Like, let's see. How did that start? Just a counter hit. I guess counter hits are pretty big in this game. Like you can only really do a combo off of a counter hit. It feels like that wasn't a combo. Okay. What was that? Just a jumping kick. Yeah, not a counter hit even. It wasn't really a cool. I mean, like. Yeah, I read somebody tell me, I think somebody told me that if you don't go for the wall break, they can like tech all the way back to mid screen or something. So you're better off just doing it or something like that. But yeah, the Oki, like Guilty Gear has always had, to me that the Oki is really what Guilty Gear is. So you hate that everyone sticks to Street Fighter. The thing for me is like I almost don't even care what game it is, to be honest with you. I just want everyone to play the same game. Like it would be a different story if we're in Japan, you go to the arcade or whatever, and there's just like 20 people in each around each game, and you have this big pool of people you can play with no matter what game you want to play. That's great. Like that would be perfect. But that's not what it's like. And you just end up with this, it's really lame when you have to go to somebody's like apartment, and it's not lame, I don't like, I don't like it when you have a fighting game meetup and you go to someone's apartment and there's like 7 people and you have 2 people playing one game, 3 people playing another game, and a few people bouncing around between games. It's just like, it would be much better if everyone would just play the same game in that situation. And I think I don't think that the U.S. has space for more than like 2 fighting games basically, and it's like a survival of the fittest or something. But unfortunately, the fittest doesn't mean the best game. It just means the one that has whatever random factors allow it to have the most appeal and sticking power and longevity. And Capcom is smart about that, and they just dump money in to make sure Street Fighter V doesn't fail or whatever. And like honestly, like kudos to them for doing that, because otherwise we would be in this era of new shitty games cycling around. And even if it's a good game, the problem is, okay, sure, a good game, but I don't want to play a new fighting game every 6 months. That's not what I want to do. I want to play a game for 10 years. And that's why I'm playing chess now, because I'm tired of having to like bounce. I just want to pick a game that's really good and play it. That's me though. Yeah, I think that's true with Melee. Like, it's just a really good game and people like it, and why not just play it, you know? But this, yeah, Strive does not look good to me. Every time I look at videos of it, I don't feel like I'm interested at all in it. But maybe if I were playing it, it would feel more fun. I don't know. It's relatively difficult to know, for me at least, to just watch a game and know if it's good or not. Like, I definitely think their nerfing of Oki is a big issue that probably is not good, but maybe if I played it, I would realize that the nerfing of the Oki fixes a problem. Like, I've always felt that Guilty Gear's neutral game is a little bit too chaotic. I don't really like that aspect of old school Guilty Gear. I tolerate it because like the Oki to me is interesting enough. And there's like other aspects of the game are interesting enough that it counteracts the fact that the neutral game is so like weird. But But I think what they've done in Strive just looks like they've kind of gutted what makes Guilty Gear actually Guilty Gear, and whatever's left over is like probably not as good. I'm sure there's some element of it that ends up being better, but I'm not seeing it just by watching. Well, they changed how throws work like that, really? Well, from what I've seen of this game, you almost never get Oki, so I don't think it makes a difference, right? Like you're you're not. There's almost never a scenario where you can wake up throw any like where a wake up throw would be good because they're never actually on top of you, right? Like there's like because the thing with Guilty Gear, it used to be like almost everything you did for a lot of characters was just like knock into knockdown, and a real good knockdown or whatever. I don't know. I'm okay. Like I used to. I like both throws. One button, two button is fine. Like it just depends on the game, I guess. I really ended up liking Street Fighter Four. Like Street Fighter Four had a lot of problems for sure. There were things that they really should have fixed and just never fixed with that game, and it was very frustrating to see them just never address stuff like that. But man, like, what's the new RC system? I don't. Oh, where you can like move yourself around a little bit or whatever. Yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. You know what pisses me off is FRC. FRC was the coolest Roman cancel they ever thought of, and they just never did it again. Like I don't get it. Like FRC was actually the coolest one. I mean, I don't think Street Fighter 4 didn't need more years of updates. It needed when every time they released a new game, they needed to make a few system changes, and they just never did it. Like I had a big issue in Street Fighter 4 with the vortex, like the fact that certain characters had vortexes and others just didn't. Like Guilty Gear, basically every character has a vortex, but then every character also has like a burst, alpha counter, um, perfect or whatever the fuck, faultless defense, instant blocking. Like you had things you could do against a so-called vortex, and then in Street Fighter 4, it was just like, does your character ever like pretty much every character had a reversal, right? But the problem with the vortex was that like the vortex by definition was Oki that just bypassed reversals. Like you just couldn't reversal against a vortex, which was stupid. Like because that game, the other thing that I hated about that game was that they gave too many characters reversals. The characters that shouldn't had any wake up option had wake up options. Like in my opinion, a character like Rufus should never have had a reversal at all. He should have been like Dhalsim on wake up. Same with like Yun Yang, they shouldn't have had reversals. Like Sea Viper should not have had a reversal. But yeah, I guess Yang could have one, but like the point I'm making though is like these characters that had really strong offense shouldn't have had reversals. Like they like I said, they just kept lowering their HP, and it was like that's not the pro. Like you need to make it so that if you knock one of these guys down, or like Akuma, does Akuma need a teleport? like I know Akuma has a teleport, but it was so fucking annoying playing against Akuma, and you're like having to do these like quantum physics option selects to like to try to bait a DP and a teleport at the same fucking time. Like it was just so stupid, and like they did that. They gave like characters multiple reversals. I thought that was so stupid to do that. Like okay, Honda has EX headbutt, right? Fine. Does he also need like EX whatever the down up move was? And I was a Honda player. Like no, he shouldn't have that. I think one of the only ones that was reasonable was like Chun. Like EX spinning bird kick was a very balanced wake up move because it wasn't very good and it used meter. Like if you want to give a character that shouldn't really have a reversal, like make it like that. Yeah, they never managed. They could just never figure Akuma out. Like they couldn't fix him. 1 second, my light is going. But you know, one thing that pissed me off so much about Akuma was like, so you think about Ryu, Ken, and Akuma and their sweep. So Ryu had the fast startup sweep that could be comboed into, but it had really, really bad recovery, and you could like it had really long, so if you blocked his sweep you could just like ultra. A lot of characters you could just ultra Ryu if you blocked his sweep. But it was really fast startup, so like it was a really cool, nice balanced sweep. Then Ken, yeah, you could one frame off of crouching or standing jab. You could also link it off of crouching medium punch. And it was really cool in vanilla. You had a safe jump off of that sweep, which was cool too. Like Ryu, that's something Ryu should have. Like you hold, if you just held up forward after the sweep, and you jumped into the roundhouse, it was a safe jump. And that safe jump didn't work against DP, like Shoto DPs. That was another thing I think that was good that they did, is the Shoto DPs were the best, and you couldn't really safe jump them. You could fake jump, but not safe jump. But so Ryu, like, that was his sweep. Ken's sweep was slow startup, but safe on block for the most part. And it was like a reasonable poke, whereas like Ryu's was like a high risk, high reward poke. Ken could combo into his sweep on certain versions of the game. I don't remember which ones. Like I think AE, he could combo standing jab into sweep or something. But his sweep wasn't his sweep was like more middle of the road. And so then you're like, okay, well, what about Akuma? His should be like probably really bad, right? Because he's or really situational or something. It's like no, Akuma can he can OS sweep from everything in his vortex, and his sweep is really fast startup and it's safe on block. Like what is that? Like what kind of design is that? It just didn't make any sense. Yeah, Ryu needs to be able to play like lane. And actually the other thing that really pissed me off that happened in the later versions of that game was Evil Ryu should never have existed, because you got like Daigo. When Daigo isn't playing Ryu, you got to redesign the game. Like if Daigo isn't playing Ryu, you know you fucked up, and fix it. You know, like so if Daigo's playing Evil Ryu, it means that your Ryu is wrong. Like you fucked it up. So like if Ryu's playing or Daigo is playing Guile, you fucked up. Like fix Ryu. As soon as you see Daigo isn't playing Ryu, you got to redesign it. Like you got to fix the game. So because he will always play Ryu if he's viable, and Ryu should be viable. Like it's just like insane to me. Like, but yeah, like I was talking about that PD guy. He played Akuma, and he was just a machine with his option selects. Every single time he had Ultra Meter and he swept he would OS Raging Demon sweep every sweep he input. So one of the only ways to punish Akuma's sweep, and this guy Petey was like, his sweep, his entire neutral game was basically just sweeping. I mean, he did other stuff, right? Like, of course he did other stuff, but the core of his neutral game was just Akuma sweep. And of course, since he 100% consistently OS'd Raging Demon with his sweep, you couldn't focus attack. You couldn't even like focus attack and backdash because the Raging Demon would get you, I think. It's just like, but the fact that you could fucking OS your Raging Demon off of a sweep is just, so he would do shit like, he's vortexing you, and if you tried to backdash, he would OS sweep, and his sweep was also OS with the Raging Demon. It just was like, but the fact that Akuma had such good neutral game was stupid. Like, a character that had that ridiculous kind of offense should not have had a neutral game like that. It just was like crazy. I don't know what they were doing in that game, man, but I still liked it. I gotta go, man. Nice talking to you guys. I'll be up all night if I keep talking.